Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and I hope you guys are doing great. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning here in sunny California, and I thought I would do something a little different. You know, I do a lot of miniature painting and crafting and that sort of thing, but I haven't been able to show it off as much lately. The little guy's been super busy with his projects, and I'm gonna try showing some stuff off myself, mostly since he didn't put in a lick of work. So to hell with that. I'm gonna show you off what I've been working on for the last month. Now, mind you, everything I'm going to show you is from the Archon Studios Dungeons and Lasers 5 Du Solaire Kickstarter. I got it all in a couple months ago, and I've been working on it, and I thought, you know what, well, let's show off what I've done kind of so far. And what I'm showing you here is from, I believe there were 3 boxes. Yeah, 3 boxes of super stretch goals. I'll get onto the actual stretch goals when I get finished with them. I have one more box to assemble, but this is just the 3 boxes of super stretch goals that you got if you backed the Dungeons and Lasers 5 Kickstarter, which I did, of course. And good news for some of you lucky folks out there. As usual, I bought more than I would ever need, and I will be giving away some of those very items that I'm going to show off when we hit 1,000 subscribers, which hopefully we'll get to do by the time August rolls around, which will be our 4-year anniversary of hanging out with all you fine ladies and gentlemen. And first up on the list, this was 1 box. This is the Flying Pirate Airship. Look at that bad boy. Now, I've only assembled it, primered it, and did a zenithal highlighting with just white. And look at that bad boy. Now, it's not perfect. I don't like the height of the deck. It's very shallow. It would be very easy to fall off the deck of a ship like this, especially if it was floating in the air. One little issue, when you're assembling it, follow the instructions exactly. When it came to assembling the balloon aspect of it and connecting it to the ship, there's just a very small connection point back here that connects all of this massive weight to the hull of the ship, and it's pretty precarious, and if you don't do it just right, you'll have a devil of a time getting it to stay. And I ended up having to use way too much glue to melt the plastics together. I would actually, if I was going to do another one, I would pin it with a very long wire connecting through the blimp part, the stem here, and into the hull of the ship. And I did glue the whole ship together. It's made so you can make it smaller. Why you would ever want to do that, I can't imagine. And if you had 2 of these models, which I do, you could make it larger, but as you can see, it doesn't look like this blimp part would actually hold much more than this, and even then it's kind of iffy, but got to admit, is still pretty cool looking. And these chains and things that are hanging off, be very careful. Very easy to break. I'd recommend giving them a clear coat of something. As a matter of fact, one of the chains broke off back here, and I don't know what happened to it. But I got an extra one of those just to make sure I could hand it out to somebody special when we do one of our giveaways. That'll be in August. Next up on the list is the Undying Queen Inara. And, oh, wow, it landed right on the base. Let's break out Doc Savage to give you a scale comparison. He's a 28mm dude, and that's the Queen. This Queen. It's pretty cool. It's kind of weird. She's a demon-looking thing with the hooved feet and the horns, but then she's got some sort of insect butterfly-like wings. And as you can see, I'm not done painting it, mostly because I just don't know what colors to paint it. You know, whether I should go with a red or keep it foresty. You know, let me know what you guys think. Next up on the list, this one is one of my favorites. This is just all kinds of great. This is Chaos the Soul Harvester. And I don't know if you can see it. Let's get a real good close-up. All those poor tormented souls that he's standing on. But yeah, this one was fun. Again, the chains, very, very delicate things to get to stick on. You're definitely going to want to use a polystyrene cement and make sure they melt and weld properly. Then the giant Kraken, you've seen him before. You love him. Release him. There you go. Look at that. Look at that face. Only a mother could love. And it's got eyes all up here. And it's even got some down here. This is just... I don't know if you can see him, but this thing is just nasty. But it's a tough build. You got to be very careful to get all the tentacles placed just right. But speaking of tentacles, it comes with a couple extra, and by a couple I mean 4 extra tentacles, so that you can place them and use them as other things, I suppose, which is always a bonus. As our good friend Venger would say, you can never have too many tentacles, right, folks? Next on the list is the Dragon Turtle. Again, you've seen this bad boy in all his glory, because I can't stop showing this thing off. This is just gorgeous. Look at this big old beastie. And once again, Doc Savage, would you mind coming in and showing the audience just how big I mean, you can, you know, he fits. He easily swallow player character, regardless of the size, I suppose. And of course, the boat comes off. So if you don't want it on there, and you want to use it as a prop on your beach or something, it's pretty cool. You know, it definitely does what it's supposed to do, and it just intuitively, yeah, as I say that, as I can't get it back on. There you go. Fits. It's snug, and you don't need to glue it on. I definitely wouldn't glue it on. But this thing is just... Every Dragon Turtle miniature I've ever seen has been about this big if you're lucky. And most of them are even smaller. And, you know, I had a pet turtle once that was a little bigger than this. And, you know, if this was bigger, that wouldn't have bummed me out. But this is solid. This is big enough to warrant terrifying the entire party and getting them to run for cover, wouldn't you say? Next on the list is the Mimic Dragon. Now, they call it a Mimic Dragon, but with the spider webs and the leafy nature, this is just a forest dragon as far as I'm concerned. There's nothing mimicky about him. His arms even look like branches. And, you know, who doesn't need a good green dragon that isn't your typical green dragon? Yes, that is slobber coming out of his mouth as he's, or blood as he's chewing on a helpless victim. Some poor human that's missing his head. I guess that's the best part because he's eating it first. But it's a solid Archon dragon. As always, they make the best dragon models out there for the best price. And, you know, plenty of detail. Plenty of just... Even look at the tail. I mean, that tail looks like a branch. It looks like, you know, or a root. Awesome. After that, we've got the Wolf Rake. I'm not sure what this is, but I like it. It's kind of a wyvern. The archway and things that it's standing on, just classic Archon. Let's give it, you know, let's give the miniature base some love, and let's help it be part of the story that is this sculpture. You see, it's got this sword sticking out of him, like he you know, he's in the middle of and a banner sticking out of him. I don't know why. Like he's actually in combat with somebody at the very moment, an army or whatnot. You know, for the most part, it's probably meant to be something like a wyvern, except its tail is furry at the end, like it's part wolf, part drake or something. I don't know. If you guys know what a wolf rake is, I literally did look up to try to find if it was a mythological creature. I could find no information on the wolf rake whatsoever, other than one individual out there who assembled and painted one up. And since he went with purple, I went with sort of a purplish as well, just because I didn't know what I didn't want to make it gray. You know, that seems boring. So, thank you for the inspiration. whoever you are. Next is the adult fireworm, but you know what? I've got enough red dragony looking things. And for me, I've always pictured drakes being winged, just smaller versions of dragons. But I painted in blues, and I'm not done. I need some dry brushing and things like that. I need to work on the horns, but it's a cool little mini. You know, definitely something for a lower level party to feel, you know, confident enough to tackle, and not too harrowing to, you know, ensure a total party kill. And then last is another one of Archon Studios henchmen, mascots, if you will. It's kind of hard to see, but it's Roblin on a giant Ratasha, which is basically a giant rat. So you got a goblin riding a giant rat. And if you need one of those, well, here you are. You got a goblin caravan you want to start up. You need someone to lead the caravan, or just some lone goblin deep in the Underdark or something like that. You're good to go. It's believe it or not, this little model is pretty complicated. There's some tricky parts to it, but I'm gonna have some fun with this one. I'm definitely gonna be able to throw it at my party, and I think it's got 2 optional heads, and I went with what I thought was the cooler of the 2. Definitely something you could throw out in the middle of the desert, or along a dusty road, or like I said, deep underground with the, you know, some sort of, you know, underground highway. You come across this merchant looking dude, or a trader, or something like that. He's got a lot of gear, so he's definitely prepared. And of course his faithful companion looks like it would tear you a new one if you were to, you know, get in its way. But that's what I've got for you today. Just something short and sweet. The minis that I've been working on. I'll be showing you the regular stretch goals, like I said, when I get to them. There's 3 boxes, and it's like 80 miniatures. This was 9 miniatures, and none of them are small. The rest of them are regular size miniatures, although there's some big ones in there. But that's what I got for you today. Hope you guys have a great day. Go out there and enjoy the weather, because it is just beautiful here. Hopefully it is where you are. Hopefully I will see you guys tomorrow or the next day doing something. I've got a game tonight, so I'm going to be pretty busy. Plus I'm cleaning out my garage, which, whole nother story. Not going to make a video on that, because yikes. But anyways, folks, have a great day. We love you. I will see you real soon, and as always, happy trails.